I appreciate so much our faculty, our staff, our students, all of our alumni and friends and our stakeholders, and all that you have done to pour into this phenomenal institution, and all that you have done to support me as your new chancellor here at the University of South Carolina Upstate. So please, if you don't mind raising your hand, this is old school, right, teachers? You put it on your back and you give yourselves a pat. So 1, 2, ready, raise your hand. And this is COVID proof, okay? But thank you all because you've done a very phenomenal job. Good morning, and I welcome you to this University Day, my very first University Day. So I did a lot of research trying to find out more about University Day, what the expectations are, and how long my speech is supposed to be. And I've been told that no chancellor has had a speech less than an hour. But I'm different, right? So Michelle looking at her watch. For real? I didn't tell them that. Well, I did tell them they've been pretty long. But I think it's been a long journey that we have gone through. It's unprecedented. And so I do look forward to sharing it. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you as we prepare for a new academic year. I'm grateful and humbled to stand here as the Chancellor, advancing the traditions of University Day and on this University Day. So allow me first to acknowledge my beautiful wife, Frankie. There's a picture of her there. Frankie and I have been married for 29 years. And we have 3 adult children. We met in college at Mississippi State, and I often say that I was on the extended degree program because she was getting her master's, and she's a year younger, so you infer from that what you want to infer. Frank is a very successful educator and has spent her career improving the lives of young people through education excellence. I was extremely proud when she was selected as the top 15 teachers in the state of Tennessee in improving the student achievement outcomes of her students. And I believe that is what who Mrs. Hemphill is, that is who you are. And I'm so proud that God blessed me with her to share the passion for education and for changing the lives of young folks. So thank you, Frankie, for being on this journey with me and for sharing this journey with the University of South Carolina Upstate. Thank you very much. It has been 49 days since joining the USC Upstate community. Not that I'm counting. Since that time, we've accomplished a lot. I'm committed to spending thoughtful time learning and listening and triaging our most important urgent challenges and opportunities. I've spent significant time learning and immersing myself in USC Upstate Up Together strategic plan, which outlines objectives that are key to transforming lives of young people and families in the upstate region. And it is a compelling plan, which is set to complete in 2025. We'll build on that plan, assessing what's working, assessing the impact of the last 2 years of interim leadership and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we'll determine if we need to update it, to extend it, to incorporate new opportunities, and to mitigate the environmental threats to our industry that's impacted directly by higher education and USC Upstate. In short, I believe in the power of education. I believe the power of a comprehensive university. It was in 1972, Dr. Robert McNeish gave us a wonderful story and a lesson that provides one of the best illustrations for leadership and community empowerment. The lessons are, when geese fly in formation, they created their own unique form of teamwork. As each bird flaps its wings, it creates uplift for the bird immediately following. And by flying in their V, and the whole flock adds at least 71% more flying range than if each bird flew on its own. Geese honk from behind to encourage those up front to keep up their speed. When a goose falls out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and resistance of trying to go at it alone and quickly gets back into formation to take advantage of the lifting power of the bird in front. When the lead goose gets tired, it rotates back in the V formation, and another goose flies point. When a goose gets sick or is wounded and falls out of formation, two other geese fall out with their companion and follow it down to lend help and protection, and they stay with that fallen goose until it's able to fly or until it dies. And then and only then do they launch out on their own or with another formation to catch up with the group. As I reflect on the lesson, on our team, and the work we have ahead of us, I see many correlations between the lessons from geese and how we must coalesce as a team. We need that leadership and success. We know that leadership and success are not solo sports and require formation. Each of us doing our part, carrying our individual work, and sharing our collective loads. I want to frame today's address with the backdrop and the background of the uplift discussed in the lesson of the geese. It is appropriate for USC Upstate, even more so as I watch the geese and ducks throughout our campus. I see them consistently flying in V formation. This morning, I'm going to discuss uplifting from where we are, my vision for USC Upstate, uplifting our USC Upstate community, uplifting our academics, uplifting our students, uplifting our impact, and then I'm closing. I'm going to share with you ahead of time that the first two uplifts are longer than the last one, so you can manage the time. Uplifting from where we are, my vision for USC Upstate. On July 22nd, I held my first Chancellor's Cabinet retreat. I shared in the earlier communication that I had expanded the Chancellor's Cabinet to include our deans, our associate vice chancellors, faculty senate chair, and our staff senate chair, a role that is held initially by our police chief, Clay Peterson. During the retreat, we worked diligently to build off our existing strategic plan, creating a transformative value proposition for the university and establish a moonshot vision for where we want to go. Our goal is to define succinctly what we hope to accomplish together in service to our students and to our community, while promoting collaboration and cross-functional opportunities and outcomes. The retreat was hosted at the corporate office of American Credit Acceptance. It started with a corporate panel discussion co-hosted by Mr. Jordy Dick Johnson, CEO of Johnson Development Associates. You may know his name as the son of our business school namesake, George Dean Johnson, Jr. Our other panelists include Bruce Holstein, CEO and President of Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System, Tori Lawing, VP of Originations, American Credit Acceptance, and an Upstate alum, Carlos Phillips, the President of Greenville Chamber, and Alan Smith, the President and CEO of One Spartanburg. The Chambers of Commerce, both in Spartanburg and Greenville, acknowledge the critical role of USC Upstate plays in attracting corporations to the region. They share their perceptions of our role in advancing the economic and educational agenda of Upstate. Jordy compellingly said, Spartanburg's growth rises and falls with USC Upstate. In a recent study of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the country, Spartanburg ranked #1 among smaller cities and #4 among all cities in the country. As a leader, and having taught leadership for many years, I am a firm believer in people and in our ability to find common ground, to unite in a vision and to a value that the contributions of all stakeholders. So, as I reflect on the lessons of geese, during the retreat, I witnessed the power of collaboration and working together. I listened and I heard the honking from teams as each of our leaders came up with creative ideas and value propositions for USC Upstate. I saw the 71% uplift of the team when they gave what I believe was 100% effort and encourage each other. This is the foundation that creates trust and helps us to achieve goals ahead of us. Dr. McNeeson's lesson of geese, fact one. As each geese flaps its wings, it creates an uplift for the birds that follow. People who share a common direction and a sense of community, they are going quicker and easier because they are traveling on the thrust and on one another. Fact two, geese flying in formation honk to encourage those up front. We need to make sure that our honking is encouraging. And groups where there is encouragement, the production is much higher. The power of encouragement to stand by one's heart or core values and encourage the heart and core values of others is the quality of honking that we seek. And fact three, when a goose gets sick, wounded, or shut down, two geese drop out of formation and follow it down to help and protect. We must stand by each other in difficult times as well as we are in strong times. I can go on and on, but the lessons are self-explanatory. We're casting a bold vision and we must assert creative and innovative leadership to accomplish what we need to accomplish for the Upstate region. I'm confident that 5 years from now, we will be amazed at all that we have accomplished and the transformation that we're making in the lives of our students and in the community. Number two, uplift our USC Upstate community. Except as September approaches, and with it, the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Of our own first responders, our doctors and nurses on the front lines of this pandemic. The way we support teams and the first responders who didn't think twice about rushing into the crumbling landmarks in New York. It's the doctors and nurses and hospital staff who are the heroes this time. And for that, I say thank you. To say these are difficult times is an understatement. It was Thomas Paine, one of our founding fathers, who said, "These are the times that try men's souls." I believe strongly in collaboration, the nature of leadership. It is about breaking down walls and silos and building our strengths of cross-functional relationship. COVID-19, we can do this by keeping ourselves healthy. We're keeping our community healthy. As I explained in a recent town hall, our response to the ongoing pandemic this fall will focus on the importance of getting vaccinated, and the vaccine is our very best option. Mary Booker and others have worked closely with the Department of Health and Environmental Control to bring vaccine clinics to campus. In fact, there's a clinic on campus today, and you may receive a vaccine until 5 p.m. at the Spartan Rec Center. There is no charge. We have launched the Vax Up campaign, working with partners across campus. The campaign is aimed at students who may have misgivings about the shot. We're grateful for people like basketball coach Dave Dickerson, who are working with us to round up our influencers on campus, like student athletes. I'm going to ask two individuals, Tyon Archie and Hannah Jordan, to come up. And for about 5 minutes, y'all can come now. For about 5 minutes, I want to discuss with them their vaccine journey. I'm going to ask Tyon to stand here, and Hannah, if you'll come on this side, please. I'm going to ask Tyon to start, and what I want to do, have Tyon to talk to us about his vaccine journey. He's one of our students. I think there's a lot of lessons learned in my conversation with him and how I learned how he came to the decision to get the vaccine.
First and foremost, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So honestly, I did have a meeting with Dr. Harris. We talked about a lot of things. And then one of the things was the COVID vaccine. I talked to Jessica Blaze about it as well. A lot of people have been just talking to me about how important this vaccine was, but like other students, I was following the bandwagon online. You know, I seen certain things that kind of just made me say, hey, this vaccine isn't appropriate, or hey, is it good to put in my body? So I just started doing my research. I started doing more and more research. And then I just started seeing how this new Delta variant came out, which is taking the young people now. And that's important to me because, you know, I'm in college and all my peers are young and I don't want them to be taken away. And I don't want my family to be taken away from a virus that's just knocking people down. So I went and got the vaccine July 22nd. And I'm preparing for the next one here, August, very, very, very soon. I got the Moderna shot. So I advise all students to actually go get this vaccine because it's really taken over the youth. We are the ones suffering from this because, you know, we are following the bandwagon online. So that's my piece on that. But I really do advise everyone, you know, just to go get this vaccine because it's really, really, really important.
So, John, talk about us about your first shot. How was that experience? And you can be honest because we talked about it, right?
I did not expect that vaccine to do that to me. So once I got it, you know, I felt fine. And then maybe about like an hour or two later, I was like, okay, my arm is like, you know, I was doing all of this. And then maybe about 5 hours later, I got I got the chills. If you guys don't know me, I love being cold. I really like being cold. So I got the chills and my apartment was on 80 degrees for probably about 5 days, 5 or 6 days. That's how cold I was. And then from there, the second day, I was extremely tired. Third day, you know, I just kept getting the chills. After that, probably about the fifth day, sixth day, I was fine. And that's what I heard from everybody. You know, it just kind of comes and then it goes. And I didn't expect it to go like that, but it definitely did. So I can definitely say that it's worth it. It's worth getting this vaccine for protection. You know, it may knock you down for a couple of days, but it's definitely worth it for protection.
Thank you. Hannah. Hannah and I had a conversation. We were actually preparing for the script. And so I asked her about, tell us her vaccine story. And I was fascinated by it because it is, you know, we have all of these ideas about why people don't take the vaccine. And then as you sit and start talking to people, you start learning of these unique stories that really were not a part of any narrative that I had prepared for and trying to make the case for vaccine. So Hannah, why don't you talk to us about your vaccine journey?
Morning. So I took my vaccine back in April. At first, I was very hesitant to just, you know, not knowing what kind of reaction I may have, you know, the side effects, long-term effects. But after thinking it through, you know, talking with my family, getting some more opinions, I had decided that it was going to be the best decision. And one challenge that I did face was the anxiety of it all, like something that had seemed pretty new, and just doing that and not knowing how I may feel afterwards. But I had very little side effects. I was just very tired the next day, but after that, I felt fine. I felt fine ever since then. And while I was speaking to my family before making my decision, one person who had said something that stuck out to me, he had said, you know, the people who have been through COVID, think about them, and the people who have passed from COVID, think about them as well. And some of those that didn't have the chance to take the vaccine, he was like, you have a chance to take it, so it's a really good idea to go ahead and do that and just be protected and stay protected.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you very much. Please give Hannah. Thank you very much. And I appreciate them very much for their humility and their courage to share their story and to share it publicly and have that story pushed out live, because I think that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with conversations with people about why you're not taking the vaccine. Conversation that Tyon has had and I had was around that it was a scare tactic. I just felt people were trying to scare us into it. And all of those things have been played out into the media. So I do appreciate it's very, very serious. As I told Tyon, I said, I had the Moderna shot and I had the exact same reaction you did. My second shot, I did not have any reaction to it as well. So it's about being transparent, helping people to appreciate what they're going to experience so they can continue to courageously take this moment. Our own microbiologist, Dr. Jenny Webb, has worked with us to host a series of webinars to help answer questions people may still have about the vaccine. Dr. Webb is also working on a series of myth-busting videos. Among the messages we'll share with our students are the vaccine does not affect fertility. We cannot get COVID-19 from the vaccine, and the vaccine cannot alter your DNA. The vaccine was not rushed. All safety protocols were followed. Lastly, we ask you to wear a mask. Continue to social distance and report illnesses to health services immediately. Our teams are here to stand by and support you. We hosted our commencement ceremonies in May in person. And I understand that we hosted several of them. And while it was a lot of work for many of our faculty and staff, we know that our students and families were grateful for the opportunities to celebrate, as with my wife and I, when our son Benny II, who graduated with his master's degrees at Lipscomb University, was able to participate in commencement. Because his undergraduate degree, when he got his bachelor's, he wasn't able to participate. And we sat in our living room, and it was very anticlimactic. So when we had the opportunity for him to participate in commencement, and we did it safely, it really felt good that all the work he had accomplished over all of those years, the dedication, he was able to be celebrated on that day. And I know that's important to our students and our families. So we will celebrate our students in a formal convocation ceremony next week. When the weather clears up, we'll host the event outdoors and take every precaution, but we'll also live stream the event so members of the campus community can participate if they like. Convocation is an important milestone and the lives of these students and the first of many events we'll host with the hope of instilling in them a sense of community, Spartan pride, and the sense of belonging that is critical to their success on campus. My wife and I enjoyed welcoming many of the students and their families during Move Up Day, moved into the residence halls on Saturday. Thank you to all the faculty and students and staff who assisted with the Office of Residence Life and Admission. I literally saw Dr. Reynolds, who was completely sweat down, and I wouldn't have recognized her if I didn't stare. But she was pushing a cart up with a group of young men. I think they called me Mr. I think that was the group that she pushed that cart up with. But she was there celebrating and helping our students. As many of you, I think I saw Kim Jolly and I saw a lot of folks outside, and it was hot as the dickens, literally. And I tried to have a suit, a jacket on and blue jeans, and it was not a smart move on my part. Thirdly, as I told you, the first and second were a bit longer. This is the next few are relatively short. Uplifting our academics, not because they're less important, but because of the crisis that we find ourselves in. I thought it was important to elaborate. This morning, I sent out a communication to our entire campus community that we will have all indoor mask required activities in our classroom, our labs. As you know, USC advanced forward and the Supreme Court said the interpretation of the proviso allowed us to do that. And while I expect this to be a fluid activity, this is where we are today. And so thank you for your resilience and your commitment to lifting up and working together to require masks and to keep our teachers and our students as safe and our staff as safe as possible. Uplifting our academics. We will continue to tap into the employment needs of the region, developing programs that are in high demand and which offer our students the best opportunities to be hired upon graduation. We know that job placement is a differentiator for USC Upstate. We will continue to explore options for increasing the number of graduate programs we offer. Our new master's degree of exercise science is awaiting SACS approval, and it is a strong example of the kind of programs that we need to pursue to further the needs of professionals in the Upstate. The School of Education is doing some amazing work with our school district, recruiting teachers in the classroom to enroll in a fully accredited Master of Education program with district support. Our colleges of arts and science advocated recently for the development of a degree in cybersecurity, one of the fastest growing fields in the country. Criminal justice professor Michelle Covington recently created a new program that allows students to collaborate with crime analysts in the field. And we are increasing the leadership programs available to our nurses. As more national and global corporations choose to locate in the Upstate, we must continue to ask ourselves, how prepared are we as a community to participate in that growth? New academic centers expand the opportunities for students and the community. USC Upstate's New Centro Latino is the university's first university-based center in the state that seeks to address the needs of Latina and Latino students and faculty. The center is led by Araceli Hernandez LaRoche and Maria Montesa. The work is incredibly significant because as the region grows, so does its diversity. We know that our demographic statistics has just been released for 2020, and we see the changes in demographics right here in Upstate County. The new Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the George Dean Johnson Jr. College of Business and Economics seeks to support not only entrepreneurial students, but to serve as a resource for local business owners as well. Brian Gray, the center's director, says he aims to support the Upstate entrepreneurial ecosystem through networking, programming, and research. This summer will be extremely productive in terms of grant activity here at USC Upstate. You may not know this, but over the last 3 research support. The Mary Black School of Nursing was awarded a $1.95 million federal grant that will support the school's efforts to increase the number of lower division nursing students from underrepresented backgrounds. A second $75,000 grant will serve as a loan fund to cover the cost of tuition, fees, books, and reasonable education expenses for graduate nursing students enrolled in the Master of Science in Nursing. Education programs, Dr. Felicia Jenkins and Tasha Kennedy will serve as directors for these programs. Several of our faculty members continue their work to fulfill a $186,000 grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. NEH grant will fund workshops to be offered twice a summer, bringing 72 middle and high school social studies teachers to campus to learn how to teach community history using the former Beaumont textile mill as a case study. Dr. Josh Ruppel, and 6 of his colleagues in the lab this summer as part of a new summer research program funded by a $500,000 grant from the South Carolina IDEA Networks of Biomedical Research Excellence. As organizations associated with the National Institute of Health. Of the 14 students selected for the 8-week program, more than half identified as underrepresented minorities in biomedical science. Additionally, Dr. Adita Nag, one of our program's mentors, has herself been awarded a research grant from SC Ingrid. Dr. Stefan Bismarck from the School of Education, Human Performance, and Health continues to work as principal investigator for a $1.2 million grant from the National Science Foundation. This summer, we conducted the first STEM summer camp supported by the grant. Additionally, we are excited to announce that the first 2 Noyes Scholars, biology major Jose Quashin and chemistry student Allison Hart. Uplifting our students. Enrollment has been impacted by COVID-19. Students aren't sure they want to sign up for another year of uncertainty. Their families may be suffering financially. Our admissions team has worked tirelessly to establish and to stabilize the numbers at USC Upstate and to step up our recruitment efforts in a rapidly evolving landscape. Our recruitment numbers are down this year. They were down last year and they continue to go down. However, I do see opportunity. Community College recently announced free tuition. Initially, you may see this as stiff competition. I see it as an opportunity to grow our Direct Connect transfer program, to build relationships with every community college and tech school in the state, and to be there waiting as students leave these institutions with an associate's degree in hand and a desire to earn a 4-year degree at a very compelling institution, USC Upstate. Programs like Direct Connect, which incentivizes students to register for the program early in their 2-year career, works to ensure that students are taking the courses they need to transfer smoothly. According to a report by One Spartanburg, we have a 24.5% 4-year degree attainment rate in Spartanburg County. which is below the state and the national average. I have joined Alan Smith, President and CEO of the One Spartanburg, in assessing the opportunities we have to impact degree attainment in the region. All of this brings us to why we are here. We must not only recruit students, but we must retain them. I'd like to spend the next few minutes sharing some of the efforts made to ensure that our enrolled students progress. Our Quality Enhancement Program, our QEP, focuses on career readiness. The Move Up QEP seeks to better connect the dots for students between curriculum and career. We're committed to teaching the competencies employers want in our students: communication, critical thinking, problem solving, and leadership, for example. There are a number of ways we will accomplish our goal. We'll help students recognize the strengths required for a particular career. We'll help them assess their own strengths. We'll create opportunities for students to connect what they've learned in the classroom to what they'll need when they actually get a job. Another initiative I'd like to mention this morning is one developed by the newly formed Retention Hub. This group will be reaching out to each division in the next week or two about retention planning for their units. We know that students are engaged on campus and are more likely to graduate. While Dr. Kim Purdy and others in the academic affairs focus on career readiness, our teams in student affairs led by Dr. Katz are working on ways to keep students engaged on campus. And they're reviewing ways to keep students who are not on campus connected and engaged as well. I hope all of you will look for the opportunities to connect with our students, create a dialogue, and share knowledge. Your willingness to become a mentor could be the reason a student stays at Upstate. I had the opportunity last evening after the tornado lockdown, and we merged up, we came here. I had the opportunity to put on one of these, I think they were doing the hula deals, and it was amazing how students came out and were looking forward to participating and creating community. As I mentioned earlier, our Spartan athletes just celebrated one of their best seasons ever. Two of our coaches, Todd Lawson and Scott Halkett, were named Big South Coaches of the Year. Two of our basketball players were drafted into the major. Jordan Marks signed with Detroit, and Alex Galbraith would play for Philadelphia Phillies. USC Upstate graduate Elsa Cicchetti realized a childhood dream and competed in with the Italian softball team in the Olympics Games in Tokyo. And basketball player standout Torrey Craig, who graduated from USC Upstate in 2014, just signed a major contract. If you follow him, you know how much that contract is to play for the Indiana Pacers. Again, why does this matter? Aside from the niceties of monies and fame, our students can see what's possible, uplifting our impact. In the few weeks I've been on campus, I've met with our largest employers and community leaders: United Way, the American Credit Acceptance, Spartanburg Regional Health System, the Boys and Girls Club of Piedmont, School District 1 and 2, One Spartanburg, the Greenville Chamber of Commerce, Oshkosh Defense. These partnerships are critical, and we're building reciprocal relationships with people and organizations who are invested in our faculty and our students. They're invested in our students because we're working towards the same goal: to improve the lives of citizens in the Upstate. So how can we define for others the value of partnering with USC Upstate? One of the most concrete ways why we do this is by demonstrating our economic impact. The most recent economic impact study by USC's Dollar-Moore School of Business cites the impact of USC Upstate is $500 million. When people think about Spartanburg in this region, they think of USC Upstate as a partner. We are important to the economic viability of this area, and I want us to stand up and be seen. In closing, there are many stories of excellence to share about USC Upstate. All of what I've discussed this morning underscores what drew me to this university. This is a really, really great place with exceptionally smart, talented people and students who will make us all look good when we go out into the world, when they go out into the world and succeed at whatever they may aspire to do. USC Upstate this has a big year ahead. We're prepared for reaccreditation by SCOC. Pam Steinke will lead us through that effort of reaffirmation this year. We anticipate we'll have reviewers on campus in the spring. If you're asked to participate by providing materials or documentation, please do so. In that process, you have no other more important job than responding to our accreditation. Everything that we do can get undermined if we are careless in that process, because we are doing a great job. And there's no reason for us not to be reaccredited, except we put ourselves in the way. I've enjoyed getting to know our commissioners, our foundation board members, and community leaders. I regret not having a chance to get to know Coach Eddie Payne and Commissioner Tommy Young, both of whom we lost earlier this summer. While I'm still getting to know all of you, I would like to end by acknowledging several teams on campus. People who are often in the background, but whose work is critical to what we do. Our IT teams deserve much credit, as do teams in facilities, public safety, housing, dining, special events, communication and marketing, all of what we saw in full effect yesterday and today. This building had no cooling a few hours ago, but they worked diligently all evening, all morning to try to create an environment for us to be able to do the jobs that we do. And for that, I thank you. I'm sure I'm missing someone, but knowing me, I would get you at some point this year and say thank you for your contribution. Lastly, I would like you all to know that I will continue my listening tour over the next several weeks, meeting with all divisions on campus. We will host additional town hall events soon. It's important that we facilitate dialogue on campus. I look forward to engaging with you, answering any questions you may have as we move through this semester. This session will be posted on the university website, and I'd like you to share the link with others. Rosemary and Michelle in my office have reached out to all departments on campus and are reaching out to ask for a time for me to sit with you and your teams and to have a conversation and a dialogue about your aspiration and my vision for USC Upstate. Again, thank you and welcome to this University Day.